This is where the fun begins.
Clear eyes, full hearts, get loose.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
And here we go.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Realish. We are Bike.
We're back.
I'm LJ Jones.
Derrick Myers.
And what up? What up? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, bro. How you been?
Listen. I just had a public sub. I'm doing okay.
Hey, much better than Subway.
Oh, Subway's trash, man. Subway is trash. Yeah. Did you see that video a couple weeks ago of the Subway worker falling asleep on dude's sandwich?
Yeah. There's a lot of theories
Yo.
as to what was going on.
Oh, no, there's no theories. It was meth. That was meth.
Yeah.
Maybe heroin. Could have been heroin, too.
A little bit of crack, so, you know.
So tell the people, it's been about a month or 2 months. What's been up? What's been good?
Bro, nothing, man. Just been plugging away, you know, editing and recording. That's pretty much been my entire life this entire time of this pandemic. Just recording, editing, and posting. That's literally all I've been doing.
Well, I mean, the thing is, OTS has about 47 podcasts. I cannot keep up. I would love to listen to every episode of every one, but I cannot. Yeah. But you do because you edit them. So
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, man. I had surgery last week. You know that already. The listeners know.
Yeah, that was. I will say that was a shocker to get that text message.
I didn't tell you beforehand. I said I sent a text to the group chat. Yo, going back to surgery right now. Yeah, send some good vibes my way.
Was that your first surgery?
No, it's my third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, but it's nerve-wracking.
But
right?
listen, did you pray for me?
Yes, most definitely.
You're like,
yeah,
no,
I did. I didn't know what was going on.
I mean, we talked after. Yeah. So, and I think I told you what went wrong in the surgery. So thank you for your prayers. I didn't. Oh yeah. So essentially, what happened was now the surgeon is blaming the ER radiologist. I went to the ER prior to having the surgery, and apparently, so I had a hernia in my groin, and the hernia needed to be removed because it was nearing rupture, and so they did basically kind of they did like an upside down triangle of incisions on my stomach. Yes. Right. But not lines. Like it was just like, you know, here, you know what I mean? Yeah. So just little incisions because they said, oh, it's a small hernia, but it's gonna rupture. So they only allotted so much space and maneuvering to pull said hernia out. However, apparently the hernia was much bigger than the x-rays showed. So when they went to remove X-ray? Yeah.
I never got X-ray.
What? So when they went to remove it, it was too big, right? Well, it was bigger than they anticipated. So they tore through a bunch of muscle. And I ended up not being able to breathe on my own. So during the surgery, they had to vent me. And so after surgery, you know, recovery was recovery. But I started to notice about a day or two after my left leg, my thighs, like basically like, so from my hip bone down to my kneecap, it keeps going numb. And I'm like, why? And it kept going numb. And now for the last 4 or 5 days, it's just numb 24/7. And
I smell a lawsuit.
Let me explain. It's numb to it's numb to touch, right? So have you ever seen Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
The Adam Sandler movie?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Deeds, his foot, he has frostbite, and you could stab it with a pitchfork, and he wouldn't feel it. You know what I mean? Yeah. My leg is so numb, you could take a pitchfork and stab it, and I won't feel it, right?
Jesus,
but the weird thing is, like I said, it's numb to touch, but it's a constant pain of, or maybe pain is not the right word, but uncomfortability of like pins and needles.
Man, yeah, that's a
And
lawsuit
so
right there.
but they didn't tell me, and they told me I ended up vented, but I was literally my eyes open. Oh, hey, by the way, you were vented, and then I didn't realize, like, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Because I was so in and out at that point. So then when I called and I was talking about my leg, because I have my follow-up appointment on the 9th, but my surgery was the Tuesday before Thanksgiving,
Right.
and so that's about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I called and I explained my leg, and they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we tore through a bunch of muscle because of the discrepancy in the size of the hernia, and so now it's kind of that could happen because of that. So now it's just a waiting game to see if your muscle repairs itself." I said, "Okay," and if it doesn't, they said, "Well, then that's permanent." I said, "Yeah, I think we need to have a talk." But the other thing is, because you could talk to your mom about it because she's a nurse.
Yeah,
I worked in a hospital. I talked to a couple doctors at the hospital. They're like, you should probably go back to the ER because there could be a blood clot in your leg.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For
So
sure.
so I'm just, my leg is numb and it's annoying me. What is pain the right? How would you describe like a pins and needles type feeling?
Annoying.
It's not pain, right? That's not the right
Not
word. It's
pain.
just
Nah, just annoying. Yeah.
uncomfortable, annoying,
Yeah.
and then to try to alleviate that, I like find myself like massaging my leg,
Mhm.
and like, you know what I mean. And somebody was like, "No, don't do that. There's a blood clot that'll break it off and send it to your
Oh
heart."
yeah, yeah. That'll break it up.
So
Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, you need to go
yeah.
to the ER like ASAP, bro. Like no
Now,
joke. My dad had blood clots, bro. My dad had blood clots
really,
in both legs. Yeah, broke off and went to his lungs. And there's still
it's
no
scary.
explanation as to why he was able to actually live through that.
Thank God that he did, but
Yeah.
and that's it's a scary thought, and that's like I should go to the hospital.
You need to go to the hospital, bro. We probably need to end the recording.
um, but yeah, listen,
Jesus.
we're here to talk about entertainment, not sad stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Before we get get into that stuff, why don't you tell the people who may just have stumbled upon this, tell them about OTS, where they can find OTS, and what OTS provides.
Yeah, so OTS is a media production company that started a little over 2 years ago now.
Stands for On the Sidelines.
Stands for On the Sidelines, and it's just about factual reporting. That's if you've been listening to this show long enough, you understand that's one thing we pride ourselves on, getting facts straight on pretty much anything we're talking about with movies or television shows. That's basically the entire thing with OTS. So all the shows we do is on music, movies, sports, gaming, and fashion. So that's what we do. You can find us at OTS Guys on any platform. At otsguys.com is a website. You get more information on all the shows, including Realish, and we have a lot of stuff coming next year. Actually, I'll have to tell you about this off air, but we got another. Dwayne and I developed another concept for another show that will be coming out next year. So, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Always developing, but you need to bring in some help to get the work done for the editing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The editing, the social media, the
Hire me.
everything.
Give me a paycheck.
Hey,
I can
bro,
do it.
I'm telling you,
I'll quit my job.
as soon as I get enough money to come in, I am definitely doing that. I like for real. I'm putting a couple people on to edit. I mean, to do something, do a couple of things.
Right.
I can't do it all myself. That's starting to give me a headache, man.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I'm Jamaican.
Especially the thing about editing is it's so
tedious.
Because tedious. That's a perfect word. Like I edited a movie, right?
Yeah.
Just one, and you could have probably edited about 12 by now.
Yeah.
But it's so tedious and annoying, and if I hadn't directed that movie, I wouldn't have wanted to sit in that editing room.
Well, I will say the one thing about editing that I don't even know if a lot of people in the audience really pick up on, but editing is an art in and of itself. like the same way we see with directors, with writers, with actors, editing is an art in and of itself. So to me, it's actually therapeutic. I can literally sit here and edit all day and not be annoyed by it. There are annoying
Yeah.
aspects.
Sure.
There are very
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
art. That's art. That's how art goes.
Yeah.
There are certain things that are annoying. I'm pretty sure as an actor, you know that. As an actor, as an artist, you know that there are certain things
Yeah.
within your medium that is just annoying, but it's
Sure.
fruitful. It's
Yeah.
it's rewarding and therapeutic, and I love it. The only thing
That's
I
a
hate about it is sitting behind a screen for about 12 hours sometimes, but
that's a very very good and valid point. Like editing isn't my passion, like acting is or
right.
writing is, and so I can act all day. I could be on a set for 20 hours and
Yeah.
be fine,
See, that would
and
kill me.
I've done it. I've been on set acting for 20 hours, which you're not supposed to do. There's some
Yeah,
legalities there,
it's
but
supposed to get cut off. Yeah.
but it that doesn't bother me. Or I can sit behind my laptop typing up a script all day.
Right.
By the way, 2 short films being filmed next month and a third on the way, probably in like May.
See,
So
there we
let's do
go.
it. And they all involve past guests of the show,
That is amazing. That is
or
amazing.
not this show.
Of Starving
Starving
Artist.
Artist,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other show. Yeah,
yeah,
Starving Artist. Yeah.
yeah.
So hey, listen. That's what I love about podcasting. Connections are formed,
Yeah.
and then we get to rock it out and put some work together.
Yeah, man.
Also,
Yeah.
since I mentioned Starving Artist hoodies are on sale. We
Yes,
got
sir.
a Christmas edition one. We got a Christmas edition one. That's not this one though, but
Yeah.
we got Christmas edition ones out. And listen, you guys can message me, or you can head to the Young and Dirty website. I've teamed up with Young and Dirty, where they are creating my merch, and they are handling all the shipping and all that. So yeah, head to the Young and Dirty website. I can't remember what it is. I know it's Young, the letter N, Dirty, something or other. It's that shop. I will figure it out.
Okay.
But it's in my bio. It's a link in my bio on Instagram at LJ Jones. But
Yes, sir.
shirts, hoodies, masks, all that.
And they look
All right,
great.
let's get to it. Thank you. I need to get you one. When I get some bread, I'm gonna buy you one. I'm gonna send it to you for free.
It's all good,
I just
man.
need to get some money first.
It's-
I need to, and that's why I'm trying to sell. That's why I'm trying to sell some hoodies, because I owe you a hoodie. I gotta give it to you.
Actually, that's pretty much it seems to be the case with a lot of people since this whole pandemic hit. Because I know that's my situation too. Like I'm like
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm actually one of my clients just called me. I gotta call him back, but it's that's the thing. Is like this. I'm intrigued by how the how Hollywood in general is going to be able to bounce back from this whole thing, because it seems like a lot of things that we've been seeing just in regular civilian life is not there's nothing actually going away. This thing seems to be here for a very long time. But
Yeah.
various productions, like I saw that The Rock was doing a movie, I forgot the name of it, but he just wrapped on it like last week or 2 weeks ago. And they did a bubble. But and I'm starting to see that there are a lot of productions that are picking up on that. Just like, Tyler Perry did a whole bubble in his whole studio lot. Like
Yeah.
for whatever shows that they were shooting or movies they were shooting, they locked that area down. And
It's not a bad idea, because people keep testing positive. Like somebody, I don't know if it was a crew member or a cast member, but on the Flash tested positive, and then they had to shut everything down. So I mean,
hard
it's
to get
better to do
control
that,
about it.
because you're going to save money doing it that way. You
Right.
can't risk losing money getting behind schedule. So I mean, it's smart to do it that way.
Yeah, because
But I think
stopping thing is
yeah.
not ideal for production at all. It doesn't even matter what you're
Well,
working.
especially when you're doing a week to week show and there's a timeline, you don't want to fall behind, because then it's really hard to play catch up.
Yeah.
And that's for TV. I mean, movies are a little different. You can kind of pick back up and get back to it. I mean, you're still losing money, but I honestly, COVID-19 is the new flu. That's what I would say. I mean, meaning that it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I think it's worse than the flu,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
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 it's not going anywhere. It's not uh, Ebola. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. You
it's
remember H1N1?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That thing came and disappeared like within a
yeah.
flash. I remember. I think it was
Swine flu. Yeah,
swine flu. Yeah, I think there was. I think it was H1N1 where I saw this video of a girl that got. This is not funny, but it's funny. She got the vaccine for it, and her mechanics got thrown off. She could only walk backwards, and I don't know if that was fake or if that was true, but
China. I can see it.
she only could walk backwards. She could not walk
Yeah,
forward. So she kind of like had to walk backward going to where she needed to go. It's the weirdest thing. But
it's silly.
yeah, so
It's the best way I can describe it. It's
yeah,
silly.
yeah, that's the only thing I remember about the H1N1. But COVID, this is one for the books, bro. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, it seems there are films that have been able to work around it. Like Batman, for example, they've been they've been shut down what, three times?
Yeah,
Three, four
and
times.
and it's the perfect cover up for whatever the fuck Robert Pattinson's doing wrong. That's pissing the
Bro,
director off. That's the
yeah.
perfect cover
I
up.
mean, yeah, and so if that director never comes back,
What an accusation.
yeah, I don't know, but it's like because without a bubble situation, I don't know how you're able to continue your production. It doesn't seem like this is the new norm now. This is the new norm for at least the next year or two. Like we're
And
gonna have bubbles
let's
for
talk.
every production.
Let's break down that bubble though. Like so, because especially like on a bigger film like say a Marvel movie, if they were to
Mhm.
do a bubble, like they film, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Like an
Right.
Endgame is like 9 months. So imagine you're a father or a mother
Mhm.
or a grandparent or whatever, and you
Yeah.
have to be away from your family for that length of time, and god
Yep.
forbid something happens, you can't leave that bubble because that's going to be something legal set up in your contract. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So imagine you just have to think of the impacts of that, and I do think from a business standpoint, as you and I both, we run production companies, right?
Hmm.
So from a business standpoint, a bubble is the smarter thing to do.
Yeah. It's
But
most cost
from
effective.
the creative aspect, maybe you don't want to join something that has a bubble because then you can't get to your family. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's a catch
Right.
22.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I know Tom Holland and the rest of the crew for Spider-Man 3 have already come here to Atlanta. Like,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
filming now.
they flew in like 3 weeks ago, I think. And yeah,
Yep.
I don't I if I'm not mistaken, I think they're shooting at Pinewood. They're either at Pinewood or at Tyler Perry's studio.
They're they're
Um,
Pinewood.
and
I
I
know
see that's
because
the thing.
I got a notice for it.
Oh, you did? Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know where like how you set that bubble up at Pinewood. Tyler Perry's studio lot makes sense because he
Oh, it's
has
gigantic. Yeah.
yeah, he has actual houses on the lot, like
Yeah.
running water and everything.
Yeah.
So it would be easier to do a bubble situation uh, shooting from there. But I don't
And
know
for
how
any
you go.
production studio, that is that like something like Tyler Perry has, like that property, he already has houses, but if he adds houses, that could be a good incentive for studios to want to bring their production to Tyler Perry studio or whoever does it,
Right,
because that way there's housing available. You know what I mean? Like it's going to
right.
cost the studio more, but you know what I mean. But
I think it makes sense. Um, the only thing that wouldn't work for it is if you have to go shoot on specific locations. I don't know if he has, which it would make sense that he would have a huge green screen
yeah,
room.
sure he does.
I'm pretty sure he probably would have that there, but I haven't seen that like in like a he did like this tour of the studio
Mhm.
when it opened up before it opened up, and I don't remember seeing that. So if
Yeah,
he had some situation like that where it was a studio space that was green screen set up for big productions like Harry Potter or well, not Harry Potter anymore, but like, you know, 007 or
Hey,
whatever.
Harry Potter's still there. Was a
Yeah.
Fantastic Beast.
Fantastic Beasts, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I just caught up on Harry Potter a few months ago and absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I had never watched any. So I went to a private Christian school growing up.
Yes, me
The
too.
school told the school wouldn't allow us to read the books or anything like that. So
Yeah.
because of the influence of my school, like my parents aren't really religious, but the which is weird that I went to a Christian school, but
Yeah.
the influence was, hey, don't let your kid watch Harry Potter because of witchcraft. Also, don't watch Pokemon. I never understood why.
Pocket
But
demons. Bro, like
oh
trust me,
yeah, pocket demons. Yeah,
that's what I was told.
yeah.
That's what I was told. I still don't know what that means, but yeah.
but so I shot a commercial. I was cast to do a commercial for Universal about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and it was for Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And
Oh yeah.
you know, I went to the audition. I booked it, and then I was like, never seen a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
So I bought them all. I
Yeah.
bought them all, and then I ran through all movies like in 2 days before shooting the commercial. Which of course I didn't have to do that because it was
Yeah.
the commercial was literally me and three people of like same age is what I mean. Wearing Harry Potter gear, drinking butter beer and watching fireworks behind Hogwarts. That's all it was. But I wanted to enjoy the experience, so I watched all
Yeah.
the movies, and they're dope. They're dope.
Yeah.
That was a long tangent for no for no reason.
No, it's fine. But
Now we're here to talk about one thing, but
yeah.
there's a couple things I want to hit just really quickly before we get there. I'm trying to think of what to hit first. Let's talk about on Peacock. We got the Saved by the Bell reboot. Have you seen it?
I keep forgetting about that. I
Were
need
you a Saved by the Bell fan?
I was. I was. I
I
watched
was
Saved
too.
by the
I was
Bell.
too.
I watched the original, watched the college years,
Yeah.
the one where they
Did you watch New
Hawaii or something
Class?
like that.
Oh, Hawaii. That was like a sub thing. Yeah.
So
Did you
yeah,
watch the New Year's?
I'm not even sure.
That was so it was Belding, Screech, and then New Kids every year. Did you ever
No,
watch that?
never even heard of that.
Let's. This isn't what I want to talk about, but they did the New Year, right? The New Year's or the New Class or something like that.
Mhm.
And that series lasted longer than the original Saved by the Bell. It
Really?
lasted three seasons longer, but nobody's watched it. So I don't know. I've never seen
I've
it.
never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Is that why?
But
Is
I
that
want
why Screech and Belding aren't in this reboot?
Screech and Belding aren't in it because Screech is that Dustin Diamond has done a lot of
Oh, he's
shady shit.
wild. Yeah.
And I don't know how true this is, so I don't want to put out misinformation, especially because of what we pride ourselves on.
Right.
The
Right. Right.
rumor is that Dennis Haskins, who played Mr. Belding, was a bit of a creep, and
You
so
know what?
he's not back.
That okay. It wouldn't be far fetched. It would be far fetched because think about the time that whole thing was shot in. That was late 80s, right? Right. So
Late '80s, early '90s.
early 90s, yeah. The time period back then that's a little wild, you know.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
excuse for it, but I could understand. I could understand how you pass on him if that's a rumor. Like I can understand
See,
it.
a few years ago, Tiffany Amber Thiessen was doing an interview somewhere. I forget what show it was. I want to say it was just like a regular, like a news station. She was doing an interview for
She was on a
something.
show
I
with
don't remember what.
USA.
No, she was just like a guest somewhere. Like it
Okay.
wasn't her show.
Oh, okay.
She was
Okay.
a guest. She was a guest somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, we got a surprise for you." And she's like, "Oh yeah, okay. What is the surprise?" And then Mr. Belding walks out, and the look on her face was so stunned in a negative way, uncomfortable,
Oh.
but she was polite, you know, as you
Oh,
are, right?
you have to
But
be, but
you're on camera, but you
yeah.
can tell she did not want to see him.
Wow.
And I'll send it to you. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, the Say by the Bell reboot, which I have seen, it's 10 episodes. I've watched every episode. It's very good. I had a bit of a slow start there in the beginning. In the first episode, I mean, I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the kids.
Okay.
They are
Good.
they're all very talented. And one thing in all the reviews that I keep reading for it talk about how wonderfully diverse this version is, right?
Good.
And
Good.
and that is an amazing thing. But now and you know, I've talked to a bunch of people. They're like, yeah, you know, Say by the Bell was just whitewashed, and I wanted to talk to you about it because I was thinking about it. I was
Mhm.
like, it was more diverse than most shows at that time because you had I forget her name, Lisa Turtle, but I can't remember her real name. Lark Voorhees.
Yeah.
You had you know a
Mhm.
beautiful black woman, and
Mhm.
then you had Mario Lopez, who was Mexican.
Mhm.
Definitely could have been more diverse, but if you look at
Yeah.
all the other shows at that time, aside from something like The Cosby Show or Fresh Prince,
Mhm.
uh, this was one of the more diverse shows, right?
No. No.
No,
Mm-mm. It because if you think about it, back then, yeah, the main cast may have had one black female, one Hispanic male. Um, but bro, I could probably count on one hand how many black people I saw on that show in general. Like
that's true. That's true.
I'm
Yeah,
like not just the main cast,
you're not
the
even talking the main cat. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
uh
Yeah,
background
yeah,
actors, whatever, like
yeah.
teachers. I don't remember everyone. I remember being on that show was white,
Yeah,
and
and this wasn't me. This isn't me
yeah, yeah,
defending
yeah, yeah,
Saved
yeah.
by the Bell.
No,
I'm
no,
just curious
yeah,
of what your take was.
yeah, no. But I do agree. I think the show was whitewashed for sure. But I mean, think about it
Yeah,
though. That was also the time in which that was acceptable, where
doesn't make it right, but yeah,
it doesn't make it right, but
yeah,
that's what it was because like black people had to actually go and like purposefully go do their own thing for it to be a black show, and even then it wasn't black owned, it wasn't directed by any black people or whatever. It was just a black cast, and that's the only thing. So like that's why I believe that what Bill Cosby did back in those times was phenomenal. Say what
yeah,
you want about his actions and stuff like that behind the scenes in terms of being wild and crazy. I'm not talking about that. What he did for
yeah,
television and media production was groundbreaking, especially in that time, because it's hard. You're hard. You'd be hard pressed to be able to find a black cast like that for shows in that time. Like I can remember Sanford and Son,
Jeffersons,
The Jeffersons, Amen,
different strokes.
Different
Ish.
Strokes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, but that's
Fresh
about
Prince.
it. Like prior to that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's about it.
yeah.
You think that doesn't even make up like what, maybe 1% of the shows that were on TV from when TV started up until the 80s and 90s.
Let me real quick also add. I really miss multicam sitcoms.
That needs to come back. I don't think we'll ever get back there, but
We need to do an episode on why that is because I want to
yeah,
figure it out. I don't know, but I know
yeah,
so many people who prefer the single cam mode,
yeah. I
which is
don't.
not there's nothing wrong with it. But it feels uncomfortable to me for comedy. The only one that I think
Yeah,
it really worked for was The Office because it was supposed to be uncomfortable.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
Same
Yeah,
thing for like a Parks and Rec or
yeah,
Arrested Development,
yeah.
um, but
The League,
yeah, no, yeah, I've never seen that, but I've heard of it. Yeah,
great
um,
show. I haven't finished it,
but
but great show.
the Saved by the Bell reboot,
Hmm.
incredibly diverse. Um, a lot of very special social themes happening.
Okay.
Um, from gentrification, um, to racism to I'm not even the transphobia isn't the right thing, but I guess LGBT representation, because there is a trans character on the show, and it gets touched on briefly. And this is one of the things that I found beautiful about the storyline, was that although touched on briefly, it was just all love and support.
Yeah,
and that's great. And then they didn't put a lot of emphasis, and I thought that was really really kind of special. And they had like an episode where they did show, it was like a flashback type thing, done really in a unique way that I thought was cool, that it wasn't just a flashback. When you watch, you'll see.
yeah.
That it did show the character being scared to present their new self, and then walking into school afraid of what their peers would say, but then being greeted with nothing but love. Like I said, it was brief, but it was beautiful.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna try and watch it over the weekend.
It's a quick watch. All episodes 30. It's only 30-minute episodes and 10. So it's an easy watch.
I'll try and catch it over the weekend.
And we need to talk about it, because we'll talk about it on the next episode. But one of my things, and I'm just gonna leave it with this, and I want you to think of it as you watch it. So you get appearances from Zach and Kelly, couple. The leads of the show, or co-leads of the show, is Slater and Jesse. They're in every episode. So then you have those two. Then you have Zach and Kelly, and then you have Lisa pop up in one episode, right?
And she had a fight to get on that.
Yes, and her appearance was like 30 seconds.
I could imagine, because when they announced the show itself, I know there was a little bit of fight pushback from her as to why she wasn't invited to come back. Contacted. So when I
that
saw
was
that
pre-COVID too.
And when I saw that they announced that she was on it, I was like, there is no way she's gonna be on that show long. Like, because it seemed like, for them to invite her, for them to announce that she was gonna be on there, seemed like an afterthought. It seemed like an afterthought. So
and her appearance was, what's the best way to, this isn't really giving anything away, so I'll say it, but it was Zach, Kelly, Slater, and Jesse were together, and they're like, hey, let's call Lisa. So they called Lisa, and you saw her through FaceTime. And then they also, it was obvious. But they also, they had, I don't know, they maybe wherever she may have been, Lark Voorhees, I don't know where she was. They did they hired a camera crew, sent a camera crew out there. And like I said, it was like 30 minutes, but they showed her on the cell phone. And then they also had a few shots of her like in her office, and she was supposedly in Paris or wherever she was. And she's a fashion designer and stuff like that. Very brief.
I hope they do better for the next season with her. I'm gonna watch the show and give it and like I said, we'll have a better conversation about it next week. But
real quick,
she was a major part of the actual.
She was the lead. What it was an ensemble show.
Yeah.
As much as Friends was an ensemble show, Saved by the Bell was an ensemble show told through the lens of Zach Morris.
Yes.
It's all, like, I'm not even going to call Zach Morris the lead. It was an ensemble show told from his perspective. Right. So that, but when you watch it, I want you to pay very close attention to who Zach, Kelly, Slater, and Mario are now in comparison to who they were in the original series.
Okay.
Because I'll say this, Slater's the same. And that's not to say there's definite growth. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that the heart of who Slater is still the same. the heart of who Jesse is not the same at all.
Okay.
Like, I was very confused by what I was watching. They're making Zach Morris out to be the villain. Like he is like not. I mean, okay, so he is a villain in some sorts because he's the governor of California who is causing some of the gentrification and causing he's shutting down schools and stuff to save money. So yes, he's a villain and he should be for that. But who he is that's who he is as a politician. Who he is as a person, as an individual, as a father, as a husband, is an absolute dickhead. And I don't think Zach was a bad person.
Yeah.
He did some messed up things. I don't think he was a bad person. And they and
Well, he was
I
a bit egotistical. He was a bit
egotistical. But was he an asshole? Like at his core, was he a bad person?
I don't know if he was at his core, but he had the tendency to be one.
This reboot, there's no redeeming
as
quality.
all people do, honestly. Like
yeah. But Zach Morris in this reboot, there's no redeeming qualities at all.
Okay.
Zero.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll start it. I'll probably start it tomorrow, actually.
And Kelly Kapowski is as dumb as Joey from Friends in this.
I would have imagined that being Screech.
Screech isn't in it, but I'm just saying they made Kelly out to be an idiot, and she was never the dumb character.
She was smart as hell.
She's very ditzy. She's very
in the college years. Hold on. In the college years, Zach was kind of an asshole. Like he was.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know. I can't remember if Kelly was that ditzy, but she was what's the right way to say it? She was she's what a lot of women are in college. Oblivious to
what does that mean? Oh, okay.
Oblivious to certain things and just living for themselves. Like, just it's college, like not really caring about certain responsibilities and stuff like that. I don't know that I would call her ditzy though. She still seemed to be like a sharp person.
Yeah, no. In this they made her so ditzy. They made her like a bubbly valley girl airhead.
She was a cheerleader though, right?
Yes.
So that kind of
it doesn't mean you're ditzy if you're a cheerleader, Derrick. There are smart, intelligent cheerleaders.
There are. You're going with
an 80s trope.
That's all I'm about to say. Think about how that role was written for the 80s and 90s.
But they didn't write her that way.
She kind of lived up to that a little bit in terms of being you want to say a valley girl or whatever. She kind of lived up to that a little bit, especially in the college years.
Watch it because it's so it's so drastic of a change is what I'm saying. There's definitely elements of this in both of them, and even in Jesse, which it is explored a little bit there towards the end. But it's very drastic, and it didn't take away from enjoying the show, but I found myself caring more for the new cast than I did for the OG cast. Yeah. Like when Zach and Kelly
is for the OG cast.
Yeah, and I'm watching it, and when Zach and Kelly pop on screen, I'm like, can they go away? I don't want to see you. Like you're taking away from what I care about right now. But it's because they made them unlikable. They're not likable. The most likable OG cast was Slater, which I liked him, before.
I liked him, but yeah.
and he's a ditzy guy. He was always that, you know what I mean? He's a
Very
jock,
self-centered.
you know what I mean?
Very
And
self-centered.
so he's still that, and it's talked about, a lot of, there's a ton of issues in the 80s and 90s shows that wouldn't fly now, and Saved by the Bell, the reboot is owning up to a lot of it. Like, how he used to call her mama, you know what I mean? He used to call
Yeah.
Jesse mama.
Yeah.
So like in the pilot episode, he's like, he said, "Hey mama," and she's like, "Nope, don't do that. You're not supposed to do that." And then like later on in the series, like he apologizes to her because he realizes how chauvinistic it is and disrespectful, and he like takes ownership of it, which I think is important. Yeah, no, so I think you'll enjoy the show.
Okay. Let me ask this, okay? Because
Yeah.
that to me seemed more so of like a nickname for a couple. I've been in relationships and I've
They
said
weren't
that
they weren't always couples.
they weren't
They weren't a
always a
couple
couple,
choice.
but
That he was after Kelly the majority of the show. He didn't get with her till the second to last season.
see, I didn't watch it in sequential order. I just watched
So
it when it came on.
he always, when you're a kid, even in adulthood, you know what you pick at people, right? You know what buttons to push,
For sure.
and a lot of times it's playful, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. He always called her mama because it bothered her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I thought, to me, excuse me, to me, I took it more so of a flirtatious thing, and
Yeah.
to be completely honest, it probably could speak to the way the culture was in the 90s anyway. But you know how you would hear about guys, like catcalling and stuff like that, and doing it.
That's
So,
catcalling.
yeah, but doing it like in a persistent way, and perceiving as if the woman likes it, she might go out and say like, "Oh, stop" or whatever, and but you keep going, and that's how I took that. I took that as him doing it because it was like a flirtatious, playful thing between them. That's how I read it as a kid.
Yeah.
Now I gotta watch it. I would have to go back and watch the show, the original show, back through my adult eyes. But back then, that's how I interpreted it. So I didn't look at it as in
Well, you're calling it catcalling. Well, catcalling is a disrespectful thing. It's not disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it. Like catcalling is not okay. Because it always comes off distasteful and disgusting and gross and they were friends. So I don't, maybe catcalling isn't the right word because they were friends. It's not like she walking by a bunch of construction workers and redneck motherfucker. Where'd you go?
Yeah.
I don't know. Watch it. We'll talk about it next time.
We'll get into
I'm
it.
not even gonna say. I'm not gonna say next week because we're gone for 2 months at a time. Next time we'll talk about it. Also, we've been going a while and haven't even gotten close to what we're supposed to talk about. I do want to talk about what I texted you. I know you haven't seen it yet. There's one episode left to air. The show A Teacher on Hulu. We talked about it a little bit.
I started it.
Did you? Okay.
I watched last week's episode. I haven't watched the last one though.
Oh, so you're okay. So you have seen everything I've seen then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, the last one, the last thing I remember seeing was that she admitted to her colleague what was going on.
I haven't seen that episode yet.
Oh,
I haven't seen that.
My bad.
Yet. Yeah, no, it was in the trailer, so I knew it was coming. But
okay.
Okay. What a thing to give away, by the way.
Right?
Like, why would they give that away?
See, that's why I don't watch trailers, bro.
Why give that away?
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't watch trailers, because it throws you all the way off. Like, okay, so that show, what's the last thing you saw?
His birthday, 18th birthday.
That was the same episode.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the same episode.
I gotta rewatch it then. I must have
Yeah.
fell asleep.
That was the same episode. I think that was episode 5. But
Okay, well then there's 2 episodes already came out since then.
bro, I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping.
Because there's 2 episodes after the birthday episode and then 1 left. Because the birthday episode was 5, and then there's 8 episodes and there's only 1 left to air.
Okay. No, that was the same episode. That was the same one. No, that was because that was last week. Because I remember that, like that was, it was like only 20. That's what threw me off.
Maybe
too.
I'm tripping. I have not. Yeah.
I didn't know those are 20-minute episodes. Like when you told me about it, I had watched it.
They're not. They're an hour. What do you mean?
Nah, that's like 25 minutes.
The first episode was an hour and 5 minutes.
Bro, that thing is like 25 minutes, bro. I flew through that thing, man. Like I was so.
That's what it feels like, but because it's good. You can.
It is a good
we can
show.
debate the content, which is what I want to do.
Yes.
And it's not even really a debate because I don't know that there's a difference in opinion here, but it's an interesting thing to talk about. So for the listeners, if you haven't seen A Teacher, which is an awful name, if you haven't seen A Teacher on Hulu,
yeah.
If you it's such a bad name. We could have done better.
There was a lot more you could have done with that.
Call it Teacher Fuck Student. Like
Secret Love.
you're getting elegant. That's elegant.
Yeah. I mean, like Forbidden Fruit, whatever. Like you could have done something. You could have done you could have done Forbidden Fruit and put an apple on it because she's a teacher.
Hulu's listening like fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it. We could have done this. They're gonna go back and change everything real quick.
They should.
No, so the story is there's this teacher played by Kate Mara who is so beautiful. Is she not? Like she is gorgeous. I've always thought that though. Since
bro. That's all they're focusing on.
let me say this. I'm very much always attracted to like watching the films and stuff. Now obviously you somebody like Julia Roberts or Margot Robbie, they're gorgeous, right?
Yeah. No, she's beautiful. Kate Mara.
No, I'm not saying she does have a big head. Kate Mara. Kate Mara is not that typical Hollywood leading lady, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, not at all.
And what like the more so like the girl next door type, you know what I mean? And I always find that type to be beautiful.
Because it's more subtle.
But I'm saying I've always been a fan of hers since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like she's been around a long time.
She's been around a lot longer than I thought she had been. Yeah,
I just watched. You ever watch Zoom? The movie Zoom, the kid superhero movie. I just watched that with my son, with Tim Allen. There's a kid superhero movie.
I know you're talking about the PBS show. I'm sorry.
No. Zoom. It's on Hulu if you want to watch it. It's actually decent. Okay. It came out in like 2006. It's called Zoom. Tim Allen plays the character Zoom. He is a retired superhero who's packed on a gut. It's him, Chevy Chase, Courtney Cox, Kate Mara, and what's that kid who's in apparently every Tim Allen movie that's ever been made? Spencer Breslin. He was in the Santa Claus movies and all that. Are you looking it up?
I'm looking it up. I've never seen this. No.
Yeah, it's a kid movie, but it's a decent watch. It's funny. Okay. But she was in that, and I'm sure I've seen her in stuff before that. But anyway, the show follows her. She's a teacher who just starting a new job at a high school. She's a high school like AP whatever teacher, and she's excited. She has basically an absentee husband that, as far as I've seen, they basically make him out to be a villain when I'm not gonna say that he's a villain.
I don't see him as one. They do make him out to be someone that's just neglectful in
He's a
some ways, but
and
he
and
seems to
and
just be a
and
busy guy.
as somebody who has been married before, or anybody who's been in a relationship, you have to give that time, of course. But if you're working all these hours, like he's an ER doctor, like you're tired, and you try to do your best, and he's not doing his best. But
Yeah.
you can understand it. But they make him out to be like she's neglected, and maybe in some cases she is. It doesn't give her an excuse to do what she did. Uh,
Not at
so
all.
she falls in love with one of her 17-year-old students, played by Nick Robinson, um, who is an amazing actor. Like he's
I've
great.
never seen him before.
Like I yes, you have. There's no way you haven't seen him before. Have you ever
Never
seen
seen him.
Jurassic World? Have you ever seen Jurassic World with Chris Pratt? I know
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
have because we
yeah,
talked about it.
yeah.
He's in that movie. He's the lead kid
Really?
in that movie.
That was him?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay, never mind. I have seen him before.
He was a star of Love, Simon, which is an amazing movie. I don't we've talked about that. You haven't seen it.
Mhm.
Love, Simon is a very, very good movie. But he's a great actor. He's that new, I think, it actor.
Oh,
And like Hollywood's using him a lot, and they should, because he's very good. So it's what you said. It's a forbidden fruit type of romance, and the question I want to pose to you and to the
mhm.
audience is this are there things in art, certain topics, certain points of view that should not be explored? um I'm gonna just go ahead and you answer that.
I think I think there's always room for taboo topics to be explored in art, but what I find interesting with this is that, and I think you and I talked about this before, if this was roles reversed, this was a female student and a male teacher,
Yeah.
this would have
Yeah.
been condemned. Like the book that this was based on would have been condemned, and the show itself would have been condemned. I have not heard any type of controversy over this show.
By
All
the
I've
way, they
heard was
did
that,
make
huh?
there the I can't think of the name of the movie. It starred American Beauty,
Yes,
90s movie,
yes, with
Kevin
Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey. Yeah,
It's the same thing flipped,
yeah,
and it's that.
yeah.
I don't know if that was a successful movie. I've seen it. It really creeped me out and
I
made
didn't
me
finish
uncomfortable.
it. I didn't finish it.
Um,
They creeped me out that much. I didn't finish it.
does this creep you out?
No, oddly enough, no.
Should it?
It's a
Should it? Because
dilemma.
it's predatory.
Yes. Well, see, I'll say this: it doesn't creep me out to the exact same level that it would if this is a male teacher to a female student.
Yeah,
I find
it's predatory, and
it's
it's
predatory.
grooming.
Yes, no, for sure. It
It's
most
grooming.
definitely is.
You're grooming a minor.
Yeah, it is creepy in a sense that this is a woman in her mid to late 30s with a
Yeah.
17-year-old boy. Like that makes no
Let,
sense.
One thing that I think was intentional on their behalf was casting Kate Mara, who does not look like a 30-year
She
old. She looks like
That's why
she
it's not
looks
as
this.
creepy. That's why it's not as
She
creepy.
looks she looks the same age as him.
Yeah, that's why it's not as creepy
If it
because
if it if it would have been
doesn't look like that.
if it would have been drastic, if you would have gotten Allison Janney to
Mhm.
play her, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
or she looks like she could be sitting next to him in class.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and I do think that's intentional,
Oh, for
because
sure, it's
you
intentional.
probably can't sell the show otherwise.
I think.
That's mind manipulation, I think.
Oh, for sure. And
This is a good talk, by the way.
right. And see, here's the thing. While I was watching this show, I was thinking about this movie that, and I can't remember the name of it. I don't even remember the um, synopsis of the film. But there was a Nicole Kidman film, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was in the 90s, where she ended up kissing a boy in that movie, like a boy.
Nicole Kidman, you said?
Yeah, and
I've never
it
seen that.
reminded me of that.
It had the show. It reminded me of what I said, American Beauty, and it
Yeah,
also reminded me a little bit of. There was a Reese Witherspoon movie, Election Day. I think. Have you ever seen that?
never saw that.
I don't remember that movie as well as I remember American Beauty because American Beauty really creeped me out. I do. There was definite elements of this in Election Day, but I don't know. It definitely wasn't as drastic as this or as American Beauty. But I don't remember if it was something that shouldn't have been made. Now, my opinion is, and Jonah and I were talking about it. Jonah wants to have this discussion on air with you and I when the series is done.
But
And that's going to lead into what I'm saying now is that whether or not a specific type of topic should be addressed, and this might be the wrong view, and I can own up to that. Maybe it's conditional, because how does the story end? You know what I mean? So does Kate Mara? I don't remember her character's name. Does Kate Mara's character? Does she end up victimized? Is she the hero? Do we feel bad for her? If so, then Hulu got it wrong, because we should not.
yes, I agree with that. From what I can tell, it doesn't seem like it's going to end up like that.
You're one episode ahead of me as far as my mind works, because I don't remember that confession.
You watched the latest episode, right?
I remember the birthday.
This week, but last week's episode.
I remember the going away for his birthday. Is all I remember.
In a cabin.
That's the last thing I remember.
Yeah, it was the same episode. That was the same episode.
So let's just say it ends that way, where they do make her a victim, or not a victim. Sorry, the villain. Or were you saying that they're making her a victim? What were you saying?
Villain.
I might have misunderstood you.
I think it's gonna go toward being a villain. Yeah, that's how I'm interpreting
and
it.
I hope it does, but there are still issues. Still have issues with parts of the story at this point, or the way the story has been told, because she does not seem like a villain. She seems like a victim because she's neglected by her husband. Yeah. And oh my goodness, there's this guy who's showing me love and attention and affection. Yeah. And oh, whoops, he's a minor. Oh well, I'm gonna fuck him. You know what I mean? If my husband wasn't neglectful, this wouldn't have ever happened. That's the way it seemed. And then they even had elements to me where it was seeming like they were making the kid to be a victim. And a couple of those moments were when he's with his friends and she calls him when they're supposed to meet for tutoring. She calls him and he hits ignore, and his friends are like, "Oh, you're not going to pick it up?" And he's like, "No, I'm just playing a little hard to get." You know what I mean? Like that. Or after every time they have sex, he goes home, he looks in the mirror, and he says, "I'm the fucking man." What a fucking weirdo. You're a weirdo. What is wrong with you? Yes, I had that conversation with somebody. They're like, "He's a kid." I don't care. Hulu's making him out to be, and Hulu, I love you. Give me a job, but Hulu is making him out to be a villain. Right?
I don't know if I see him being a villain. I see him as a victim. So I think about it this way. He is a victim. Yeah. But I think about it this way. Like, one, he's 18 years old. Two, I remember
when it started.
17 when it started. Yeah, 17 when it started. Most important. I remember when I was a kid having a crush on multiple teachers. Right?
It's normal. That's normal.
Very normal. But
not in my school, but that's normal.
Yeah. I'm actually pissed at when I think back on some of the teachers I had a crush on. I'm actually pissed. I even had a crush on. But I think about it like this. yes, he might feel like he's the man because he got to sleep with the teacher. Um, and he's in love with her. She's in love with him. He might feel like the man, but I think it's only because he's got a partial view of the picture. Like he's not looking at the entire picture. Like he's not looking at
Right.
how this is going to impact his life
And a
because
teenager would.
and teenager wouldn't. Yeah, that's why I think it's realistic because he's looking at it just from the mindset of I'm banging my teacher, man. Like, and not understanding like if this goes to a national stage on the news, which these type of stories usually do, um, that's going to affect him getting into college. That's going to affect him
Mhm.
for a long time, and that's all that he's going to be known for.
Would it? Do you think it would affect him getting into certain colleges? Like
Yes,
like
yes, because
because
the way they were showing it was that he's a student that has a chance at going to an Ivy League school,
yeah
right? And I don't
yeah
know that with this type of thing happening, going to an Ivy League school, that those schools would be looking at him like, yeah, come here, because think about it. If you had the desire to sleep with your teacher as a high school student, and not only have that desire, but were able to fulfill that desire, what's going to end up happening when you get to college? You see what I'm saying? Where it's not going to be
yeah
asked. It's still bad for a professor to do that with a student, but you can at least think about it like, you know what, this is a young adult. You know, right or wrong is indifferent on that. But I can honestly like I would think that he would feel a little better with that happening at a college than
yeah
a high
because at
school.
least it's legal.
Yeah, yeah. But the admission council will be looking at it like what could happen with the teachers with professors we have on our campus. Would he want to sleep with our teachers? And then that could possibly impact whether he gets into the
I see
school or
what you
not.
mean. Yeah
Yeah, so
yeah.
like
I
that's
see what
going
you
to end
mean.
up hurting him. He's not looking at it like that. She
Is
is obviously looking at it like if we get busted, I'm going to jail. I'm losing my
yeah
career, losing my marriage, like all that. Everything I worked hard for, I'm losing it all because I'm sleeping with a kid. Like she's looking at it like that. But think about it. Again, she's like mid to late 30s, right? You're trying to convince a 17-year-old boy who's living in the social media era to not post certain things, to not do certain things like liking a picture on Instagram. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to convince him to multiple times to not do that. Like you have to tell him
right
over and over and over and over again to not do simple things to in order to not get
right
busted. You see what I'm
right
saying? So she's
yeah.
looking at it from a more calculated risk type of situation, which I still don't even understand why she would even take that risk. That's why I'm
It's
like so
crazy.
thrown off.
It it's crazy how often this happens in real life too.
For
By the way,
sure. For
like
sure.
that, like literally, and I hope they don't listen to this. You ever, a friend of mine, her mother slept with a student.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. Like imagine like this happens a lot, right? But
Yeah.
I know somebody whose mom slept with a 14-year-old or 15-year-old kid, like,
Jesus Christ.
and she was like 46. Um,
Damn.
but it's like it's crazy how much it happens. It's crazy that I literally grew up knowing this woman who did it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And nothing ever
it's
happened to her?
crazy. No, oh well, she went to jail.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, but here's the thing. My friend don't speak about her mother
Okay.
anymore. Uh, I know she got arrested. She lost her job. She's a registered um,
Sex offender.
pedophile or sex offender.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think she did a term in jail. I think or like prison. I think she just went to jail, bailed out, paid fees, and that was it. I don't know to be sure. Um, oh,
That's
it's
wild.
just like
That's wild.
Is it?
Look,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even I know for a fact if I were a teacher, like there's no way on this planet I would even entertain the thought of anything like that happening. But if I even did, the thought of having to register as a sex offender alone, like that whole process, bruh, like think about how you have to alternate your life after that whole thing is over. You can't live within a
Can't
certain amount of
sir. Yeah.
distance from the
Near
school.
school,
You like even like
daycares,
churches. Yeah, you have issues
play
with
zones.
churches. It's a lot you have to avoid. So it's like what's like it's not worth it just even in
Let
that
let
sense.
let's not just look at it as the inconvenience to a sex offender because fuck them. But
Oh
let's
yeah,
not
no,
just
for
look at it
sure.
like that.
But I'm saying like I know I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
no, I know what
like
you're saying, but for the audience, let's not. We're
right.
looking past that too.
Right. But that's what I don't understand how like with Kate Mara's character, like how that never like even crossed her mind because no
She knows
longer
it's
you're not
wrong.
yeah,
She knows it's wrong. She's very calculated, making sure it doesn't get out there, which also doesn't make sense as to why she told her colleague. Um,
she was even drunk. That's the thing. That's why I not even understand it. Like that whole that episode, bro. Like go back and watch it again. Because I guarantee you that's the same episode. That made no sense to me as to why because she did this the entire time trying to get him to not say anything to friends, not do anything on social media, not record anything. Because you remember let him record a video in that cabin and then said delete it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Even
you do all that and then you telling yourself.
even if you think, even if you think you can trust somebody with that information, I don't think you would tell somebody, even if you think you can trust them.
I and like she just met this woman, bro. Like that's the thing that's throwing me off
But
too. Like that doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
yeah, let me I know a couple teachers, right? A friend of mine. I just want to talk about uh, how strict school boards are with even
Yes.
like with even normal
Yes.
stuff, right? I'm not talking about predatory stuff, normal stuff. A
Yeah.
friend of mine was a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
had an OnlyFans to supplement their money during COVID. Never posted about it.
Yeah.
Never posted about it on their personal stuff, right? They like didn't use their real name, didn't you say what state they were in, what county or city they were in. Somehow it got reported to the school and she lost her job because she had an OnlyFans.
I hope she made enough
And
money to do it.
I have no idea how much money she made, but like I support like people who are doing OnlyFans because people can do whatever they want to do.
OnlyFans
You know what I
is
mean?
not just for sex too. Like, I think that's
It's not. It's not. It's not. But whose business is it? She
none.
works with 4-year-olds. A 4-year-old is not gonna get on OnlyFans. A high schooler might find it. You know what I mean? That might spread through the school. A 4-year-old is not finding an OnlyFans. She was a kindergarten teacher. Listen. And then another friend of mine was a teacher, and we were having a conversation about that situation.
Mhm.
And she said, like, when she's talking to people, like she's in a relationship now, so even with her boyfriend, she said she can't send him nudes, and if she does, she has to make sure he deletes them in case they get leaked somehow. You know what I mean? Like
Because she's a
because
teacher.
if she said even because she said even if it was her boyfriend or something, because she teaches middle school, even if a naked photo of her somehow gets on the internet, she would lose her job. It's in her contract, and
Bro,
I just like
you know how many people that
and
automatically excludes from being able to have a position as a teacher?
yeah, well, I mean, the contract doesn't say, hey, don't send nudes, but expletive materials if it gets out, just something like that. I don't know the exact verbiage of it, but man, like,
that's wild.
That's wild. Live.
Yeah, I
if you're not doing anything wrong and disgusting and disgraceful, let people live.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think
if you're a bad person,
as long as it's not hurting anyone, as long as things are consensual and legal. I mean, I don't see how that's anybody's business that's on the board, to be completely honest. Now, if it steps into this arena in any way, shape, or form, where you're talking about a student and teacher, for sure, you should lose everything. But when you're talking about someone that is in an adult relationship, that I mean, I can understand why she would take that precaution, because that's even when
she cares that much about her job and what she does and her students. She doesn't want to risk anything. That she makes her boyfriend delete the stuff. You know what I mean?
I was overly cautious as a security guard for when I was working at Chick-fil-A's corporate office. Same thing. I mean, not same thing as that, but like I would.
You out here sending news, dog. Like,
nah, man.
You know the OnlyFans I don't know about.
Like, if I had OnlyFans, man. Yeah, man.
I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me about it.
No, I wouldn't tell anyone about it. Knowing that I know.
I'm gonna be texting Dwayne. Look at this fool.
Sounds hard. But no, like I wouldn't even like I would drink like maybe one beer. I wouldn't be around anyone that would smoke, stuff like that, because I wasn't like, I always had in my mind that there was a possibility Chick-fil-A could force a drug screen or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that was always in the back of my mind. So there was like, that was never happening. So I can understand where your friend is coming from, but it's just like, it doesn't compute at the same time.
I wonder if that's a basic thing that's in a teacher contract.
I would assume
if it's a county to county thing. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I would assume with today's technology, it would make sense. Because you remember even like a few years ago, I think Sony had that issue where there was a ton of people in Hollywood whose news were getting leaked.
Yeah, phones got hacked, and that guy went to jail and everything.
Yeah. So I mean, but that happened because someone hacked the cloud and started spreading things, right? Like, would a termination happen if something like that happened, where you send it to your significant other, and he or she, they're not putting it out there online or anything like that, they're not doing anything stupid, but their cloud gets hacked by someone, and then it just ultimately gets put out there, and you can honestly, you can prove that that's what happened. Does that teacher still lose that job?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the day and age that we're in right now is so far beyond like where, like, when we were in school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not when we were in school. I was social media age, and when I was in school,
I didn't have social media at all until college.
I had MySpace in middle school. I got Facebook in about 8th grade. I had it all. I had iPhones. Look, I'm 24.
I'm sorry, MySpace. I forget about MySpace. I had MySpace. God, when did that come out? I think I had that at 16 or 17. But that's
why did we get the Social Network and not a Mark movie? I just call him Mark. That's all I want. Not Mark. What's homeboy's name?
Tim.
Tom.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Tom
deserves one, bro.
Tom. Let's just call it Tom. Had that one photo with the white shirt.
Look, everybody's friends list too. Like,
he was my number one friend. He's the only one I had.
Whenever you open up an account, he was your first friend. I respect Tom. I wonder where Tom is.
He had no friends growing up. There's no way. He's like, I'm gonna make sure I'm all these motherfuckers friends.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with Tom right now. Because
last thing
I heard.
This is the promo.
Oh yeah.
This is the promo.
Yeah. The last thing I heard about Tom was that MySpace was bought. Like I think Justin Timberlake was a partial owner.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah,
and
and they made it into a music. Yeah, they made it into like a music page or something like that, a music platform. But that's the last I heard about MySpace. I don't know what's going on with it.
I made a MySpace about a year ago.
It's still out?
Made it. Yeah.
Wow.
You can get on there. I made one, and then another. I didn't know. Back to Facebook. I don't even like Facebook. I like Instagram. Instagram.
Twitter is my that's my playground. Like I'm on Twitter more.
Every time I type a tweet, I'm like, nobody cares, and then I erase it.
That's the thing. I don't care if anybody cares.
Like people are gonna look at me like, what's wrong with it? Listen, we did not even get to what the main event was.
We briefly touched on something that was a part of it with COVID.
How long we've been going?
I have no clue. This is about an hour and a half already.
Let's do this. This is the bonus episode. We'll do another. Let's record tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll talk about what we're supposed to talk about.
Yes.
Why don't we do this every time, man? We do about random stuff. That's friendship. That's friendship, people.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
This is the bonus episode. We're back. It's been an hour and a half ish. I don't know. I have no clue.
Somewhere in that range.
Jesus, man. Good talk though. Good, like a lot of good talk.
Excellent talk.
And when a teacher Alley is out, we're gonna get YJ on.
Yes.
He said he hasn't even started watching it. He said basically the same thing that because I sent a text to you, him, and Tremonte all at the same time.
Oh,
I want to ask you. Yeah,
you bring them both on.
Yeah. And yeah. Also, since we're talking about random stuff, let's talk music real quick.
Yes.
Music. Okay, so a guy I know made the stupidest post. You're from Atlanta. He made the stupidest post I've ever seen in my life. He said, if we include Juicy J's solo catalog, 3-6 Mafia is beating Outkast in a versus.
Shut the fuck up.
I love Juicy J. I love Juicy J. I enjoyed 3-6 Mafia. They are not, and I repeat, not beating Outkast, even if it's just Outkast. But if we're including his Juicy J's solo catalog, we are definitely adding 3 Stacks feature catalog.
Oh, you have to.
Let's do this. Let's do this. A 3-6 and Juicy J solo catalog is not even beating just 3 Stacks features catalog.
Hell no, not at all. Not at all. I don't think they can.
It's a hit. Is it not a hit challenge? Is versus a hit challenge?
Yeah.
What do they have? Bands will make a dance. That's it. Right? I like their music, but that's the only hit.
Yeah, I don't see. You can't. Honestly, and I didn't grow up on 3-6 Mafia that much either. And the reason why is because I grew up in the church, so it was always an assumption that 3-6 meant 666. Yeah, it's a long story.
And if you play rock albums backward, it's devil worship.
Devil worship, yeah. This don't get so.
I want to know where that came from. Who said that? Who played rock?
I don't know, backwards? But they said the same thing about Jay-Z. They said the exact same thing about Jay-Z, bro. And so
Bizzle said it too.
Yeah. Yeah, but this you can't even. There's. I don't think that they could even stack up to. I don't think they can even blow out Bow Wow, to be completely honest.
You back? You back?
Yeah.
You said Bow Wow?
Yeah, I don't think they could beat Bow Wow. Bow Wow.
3-6
because Bow Wow had hit. Look,
it's a hit battle. Listen. I still listen to Shorty Like Mine. I don't know what you're talking about. Like
me too. I'll still throw that.
My son.
Yeah.
I'll play old school Bow Wow for my kid. My
Yeah.
3-year-old walked in the room the other day. He said, "Hey, Daddy." I said, "What?" He said, "Basketball is my favorite sport." I was like, he had a basketball in his hand. He's dribbling it. I said, "Do you like the way they dribble up and down the court?"
You have cultured kids, bro.
I was wearing a Tupac shirt, right?
Uh-huh.
And that 3-year-old, he sat on my lap. He said, "Is that Tupac?" I said, "Yeah,
See,
it is Tupac."
see,
He said, "Where's Snoop Dogg?"
wow.
Am I a good or a bad dad? I don't know.
You're an
Like,
amazing dad. Because there's no way. That's the thing that I have a fear of for this next generation is that they're not gonna have that type of, unless the parents like are purposeful about what type of music they listen to or introduced to or exposed to. They're
yeah,
not gonna have an understanding of true hip hop, let alone R&B.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
We were driving the other day, and Ian, he's 5 now.
Mhm.
Well, oh, it wasn't the other day. It was months ago. He might have been 4 at the time, but we're driving, and he said, "Daddy, play Say Goodbye to Hollywood." I'm like, okay, that's a great song. It's not one of his biggest songs, but it's a great
Yeah,
song. Okay,
yeah.
so that's a great
Wow.
song, man. I was like,
Wow.
not even most Eminem fans know that song.
And that see that look, kudos to you because that's amazing for a 3-4-year-old kid to be able to even
Yeah,
know what's what. That's amazing. So salute to you because
it
that's terrific parenting.
it was the Where's Snoop Dogg though. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't even remember talking to you about Snoop Dogg. What are you talking about?
Oh
Imagine he
God,
walks off. Nothing but a G thing, baby.
Oh yeah, see that's why I know for a fact there are certain things. I don't care how old I get. If I'm going to have kids, certain things said like that, if they quote any bars from Snoop Dogg, I am dying. Like I'll be on the ground like that. That would
Man,
kill me, man.
imagine, imagine me when my boy's holding the basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport. What is happening?
There's some people
What is
from my
happening?
generation or our generation, I should say, that don't even know that like that. You know what I'm saying? That is amazing. Yeah.
People don't even know who Bow Wow is anymore. Like the
Nah,
younger
it's
people
Shad
now.
Moss. It's
I
Shad
know
Moss.
it. I know. No, they don't know him either.
No, they know the
Like,
actor more so than they know the rapper, which is
listen. Well, I'll say I found out about his music because I was a Like Mike fan. You know what I mean?
right, right,
Like so
right.
that's where. But how much music was there before Like Mike? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
it
Like Mike
was
was 2000. A
yeah, he
lot.
had yeah,
Like
he
Mike
had
was
music.
2003.
Yeah, he had music before that. Because he
Yeah.
was
Okay.
like, if I'm not mistaken,
12 and like he's 12 and Like Mike. He got
12 like
signed
Mike. I
when he
think
was
he got
8.
signed, yeah, 8 or 9. So he had music. Like
Well, I
Bow
mean, you
Wow
even
is
have
not
that
a
video of
joke.
him. No, you have him on that video, or he performed on Arsenio Hall when he was 4. He was in that Gin and Juice video. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
been around. Like,
He's been around.
Gin and Juice. He was in
Yeah,
the Gin and Juice
that
video.
is wild
Like,
as hell.
put some respect on his name.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even think Juicy J would be able to touch Bow Wow. So let alone
just
freestyle.
Juicy J on last Saturday's episode of the JBP, the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
They called him up to congratulate him on his album, which is really good. His mixtape is on Dat Piff is really, really good.
Yeah.
They congratulated him on that, and they said, "You haven't done a versus. Who would you want to see in a versus?" He said, not even a millisecond later, he said, "Pharrell." Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
That's bruh.
Why? You want to see
I don't even.
Pharrell?
That's gonna be a complete
Just
wash
you
because
alone.
I don't think he gets one round.
Listen, And there's no disrespect to
No
Jessie J.
disrespect,
We're
but
talking
hits.
versus is a hits challenge.
Yeah, you can't
Come
throw.
on, man.
Yeah, and Pharrell's been featured on hits. Like he could bring out features and his own stuff and wash them. I don't know if we've seen anyone get kept on zero yet with verses. He'd be the first if he did that.
I had a debate with somebody in OTS. Jonah agrees with me on this. I want to see if you agree.
Mm-hmm.
We're just bullshitting at this point.
Yeah.
All right. I still say Jeezy got Gucci. I still say it.
Yes.
I know you said Jeezy won, right?
Yeah.
You say Jeezy,
yeah.
or I mean,
no,
Jeezy won.
I said Jeezy won because
he
thought he was more mature.
That's not the challenge, though.
It's not the challenge, but he took air out of Gucci. He took air out of Gucci when Gucci played that track, and he didn't react. He took a little bit of air out of his sails with that one. I think based on performance, Jeezy won that. Gucci may have won it according to the streets, though.
According to the streets, yeah. I still give it to Jeezy. And people, I've had a couple of people like, they're only saying that because you only care about commercial music. And I was like, you know me better than that. I don't barely listen to commercial music.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Yeah. I just like Jeezy's music better. I'm a Gucci fan. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter what Jeezy put against the Steady Mobbin verse.
Yeah.
He was going to win.
Yeah.
He was going to win.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what Gucci put on. Jeezy was going to win.
Right.
The only thing that maybe could have competed with the Steady Mobbin verse was Jeezy's Going In verse. That verse is hard, and he should have played it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of tracks that he did not play. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think even with him withholding, he still won it. So if he had played some of those other tracks that he did not play, Gucci may not have even been. He would have lost maybe by like 4 more rounds, maybe.
So what I was saying was this conversation me and Mike was having on OTS, and Jonah popped in and agreed. Gucci versus Plies wins. Mike said, "I'm saying that."
He probably does.
He said, "You're only saying that because you're from Florida." I said, "I'm from Florida, and Plies lives 20 minutes away from me. I'm not saying it because of that. He wins. Plies wins."
Yeah, I think Plies will win that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not a wash, but I think Plies will win that.
Not a wash, but I Plies would win. Plies would absolutely win.
Yeah,
and again,
versus. I just love watching.
Who would you put against him?
Who's
the perfect opponent?
I have no.
Ace Hood, maybe. Ace Hood doesn't have enough hits.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. At this point,
I woke up in a new Bugatti. What other hit does he have? And
that's about it.
I like his music.
That's about it.
I actually
hit-wise, that's about it.
I listen to every Ace Hood song put out. I'm a fan.
Yeah, that's
his only hit.
Yeah. I don't know who you'd put up against him. I just like him because he's entertaining. Like Plies on a stage.
Funny,
like I follow him just so I can laugh, man. Like when he was getting into the politics
he's a good
stuff,
dude too. He's
an excellent dude. He's an excellent dude. When he was getting into the politics conversation, I still even listen to that because he made plenty of sense. It was just I was starting to miss a little bit of the comedy, his regular dialogue. That was it. But I mean, I love him. So yeah, love to see
being in high school in Florida when Becky came out.
Yeah. See, I was homeschooled, bro. So I didn't experience it like that. I didn't experience
loser. I'm sorry. I went to a Christian school, man. No, I'm a loser too.
I went to Christian school. No, I went to a Lutheran school. School. Okay. Pre-K through half of fourth.
Right.
And then public for a year and a half, and then I was in private school. No, I was in homeschool, which was a Christian, Presbyterian church. but that was from sixth grade all the way through to high school. So a lot of the music that I know is because I was sitting in my room, supposed to be listening,
Yeah.
supposed to be working on classwork. I'm listening to the radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Now,
was
did
it.
Plies hit in Atlanta?
He did, but I don't remember him hitting that big. Like I don't think he hit as big as Gucci did in Atlanta.
No, it's Atlanta. It's
Yeah,
Gucci. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
see, now Plies was big. Like, I forget where he's from. He's from Miami, right? Or no, Duval. He's from Duval.
I have no clue.
I forget, but he lives outside of Tampa.
Yeah,
So like literally, his house is 20 minutes from where I live.
that's phenomenal.
And
He'd be an
and
excellent interview.
I, I've never seen him out. I've never seen him out, but I have a friend who works at the Publix near his house who said he sees him like once a week. And that's the other thing is, like, when I used to work at Sprouts, Dave Bautista used to come in once a week.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
there are people here. Dave Bautista, by the way, is the nicest person I've ever met in my entire life.
Friendly as hell.
The nicest, like literally, like I was running register because we were short a guy, and I used to lead the customer service, and he came through my line, and I was being nice to say, I'm sorry, I have to say it, like I'm a fan. And he was like, "Oh, no, I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that." He's like, "How you doing? You having a good day, man?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, yeah, I'm having a good day, man, absolutely."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Listen, I can't even tell you, man. Like, I love Sprouts so much. I'm so happy that there's a Sprouts so close to my house."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, that's good. I'm glad you like Sprouts." He's like, "Man, listen, I'm filming this Zack Snyder movie right now with so and so and so and so and so and so, and there's a Sprouts literally right next to where I'm staying, and I love it, man. I'm so happy. Like, I love Sprouts." I'm like, "Good." I'm so happy for you. But and like he would come, like we were on a first name basis, and of course I knew his name, but he used, like you said, like once a week he's like, "Hey, LJ."
That's dope,
Dave,
man.
like, like, can I call you Dave, Mr. Batista? What do I call you? I don't know.
That's dope as hell.
He's a good dude, man. And there were people who like our grocery manager had Dave Bautista sign some Drax action figures and comic book or Guardians comic books.
Yeah.
I just couldn't ask him to do it, man. I wanted to, for my kids, but I just did. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't.
You'll get the chance one day. You get the chance one day.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And that's I can't even tell you how many times I've had I rant. You make shit up in your head. Like I'm sitting on Fallon's couch talking about meeting Dave Bautista when I was 18 years old, and knowing him, like seeing him day to day, not day to day, week by week. That Ben Affleck the run in I had.
Oh yeah.
Listen, when I'm on Fallon, this is already recorded. We put it out there. When I'm on Fallon, or if I'm on Kimmel, I'm calling Ben Affleck out. Yo, Ben, listen. I met you. I was 8 years old. You said one day we're gonna work together. I wrote a script. There's a script out there. It's on my laptop for me and Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I'm pretty sure.
On whatever talk show I'm on. Hey, listen, I'm ready. You told me. You promised. You don't lie to children. Come on now. And if I ever get to that point, I'm ready.
I love where he is right now. The older he gets, the more layered his acting is. So that's probably for the best that you get middle-aged Ben Affleck.
I met Daredevil Ben Affleck.
You met Daredevil Affleck, man, and people still hate on that movie, but that was.
I've never seen it.
Well, you've never seen the Ben Affleck Daredevil?
I've never heard good things about it. What am I gonna watch?
I watched it multiple. I had the DVD, bro. I watched that movie multiple times.
How about Elektra?
Hated it. I love Jennifer Garner, but I absolutely hated that film.
She was there. She was there too.
Oh, she was at the airport.
It was the two of them, and it was before they were officially together. they
Yeah,
appeared together.
yeah.
Um, I always hear Daredevil, Elektra, and Catwoman. All
Absolute
trash.
garbage.
That's what I always hear.
Absolute. No, Elektra and Catwoman they're in a league of their own. Daredevil, I understand. I
Are
understand.
you anti-feminist? Are you anti-feminist?
No,
Listen to you talking about Elektra and Catwoman and saying, "No, Daredevil was that's a dope movie," but
I love Elektra in Daredevil, but the
okay.
direction that they took Elektra in her standalone movie was that I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It wasn't a horrible movie, but it wasn't great. It didn't live up to what I expected from Daredevil.
There are
Catwoman,
people that yeah, I haven't
bro,
seen that either.
that should don't ever watch it. That should have never been made. That should, and Halle Berry, I have nothing but respect for her. I guarantee you, she would say the same thing. That movie should have never been made. Guarantee it.
Hey, I know this is broadcasted, but between you and me,
Yeah.
the room,
Keep it a secret.
the rumor that Beyonce is in Black Panther 2 makes me not want to watch Black Panther 2. Beyonce is a goddess. I love Beyonce. She cannot act. Don't
Bro,
put her in a movie.
she threw off Lion King for me, man. Like I'll say
She
this,
did.
and they've already
The
debunked
best
that.
acting. Oh,
Huh?
did they?
They debunked Rihanna being in that movie.
I hadn't even heard that rumor.
Yeah, there was like some. If you Googled it, Black Panther 2, she was in the cast picture.
They're saying Beyonce is playing what's the name? X-Men.
Don't say Storm.
Storm. That was a rumor. Yeah, Storm. That Beyonce was
Beyonce?
playing Storm. Yes.
I think, and this is no disrespect to Beyonce. This is no disrespect, no shot.
Beyonce, Jay-Z, if you're listening, we love you guys.
I love them to death. Well, I loved the project she did. I forget the name of it, but it's on Disney Plus. I thought that was spectacular. Black is King. Black is King. Yeah. I thought that was phenomenal. Yeah. That was a work of art. There is no way in hell she needs to be anywhere near a Marvel film at all.
Let me tell you this.
I don't care. I don't even care if it's an extra. She does not need to be near films, bro. Like she does it because she threw Lion King off, man. Like as Nala, she did not need to be Nala. I wasn't when I heard Donald Glover, when I heard his voice as Simba. Of course, when the very first scene, Donald Glover, okay, but then he became Simba. She stayed as Beyonce. She never became Nala. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. I hate that. I hate that.
The best acting I've ever seen Beyonce do was in 2006's The Pink Panther with Steve Martin. The Pink Panther 2, I think it was.
I never watched that one.
I think I've only seen it once. I think she played herself. She played a superstar. If she wasn't playing herself, she's playing herself with a different.
She wasn't bad at Fighting Temptations with Cuba Gooding Jr. She wasn't bad.
I didn't see that movie.
That was a good job from her, but I can't. That's the extent. That movie she did with Idris, was it Idris Elba? Yeah, Temptation or something like that.
I did see that. Yeah.
Garbage. Yeah. Wasting my money.
Yeah.
Wasting my money,
man. And that's the thing, a lot of now Beyonce's different. Beyonce is obviously different, but a lot of musicians, rappers, or singers, or whatever, make the transition into film because they make more money there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Beyonce's different. Beyonce doesn't need to do that.
Beyonce does it for the love of the art.
Yeah.
She doesn't need the money.
I can appreciate that, but stay away from Black Panther 2, please.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what.
Don't be Storm.
I don't want her as Storm. I don't want her in any type of superhero suit.
Who should be Storm? If we didn't already get her,
Janelle Monáe, I know.
Yes. Yep. Perfect.
If she can do the accent, See, now this is where I'm confused because I don't know how you introduce Storm without Black Panther.
Without,
like Chadwick Boseman. If you decide to get a different Black Panther, like this is not T'Challa. This is
because the Black Panther changes. It doesn't have to be
he
T'Challa.
doesn't have to be T'Challa. But
They've
if you
already confirmed though that Shuri is the new Black Panther, and the movie's going to be somebody trying to take.
I don't know how you do that then, because from what I understand, I didn't read every comic book, but from what I understand, Storm was never a lesbian. You know what I'm saying? Like so that dynamic to me, I don't know how you introduce that.
They divert from the comic books all the time.
Yeah, but that would ruin. I mean, not that would ruin it, but the story of Storm.
We've had this
Black
conversation
Panther,
on the show.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we did. But their story is so intricate. Like I want it to be that. I don't want it to be, something you just divert from. Even if it's not T'Challa, you get like if Shuri is going to be Black Panther, and then whatever the story might be, like they revert to another Black Panther, whatever. I want Storm to be introduced through Black Panther. That was my hope and my desire, so that we can get the X-Men to come in. Like that's what I wanted to see.
It could be the same exact storyline, just with Shuri. It does not.
Yeah, but I don't
stay the same.
I don't think that it would be a horrible thing to happen, but it wouldn't feel the same to me. Not that that it wouldn't be accepted, but the story itself just wouldn't be the same. Like I would rather, them get another Black Panther to be Black Panther moving forward, because I don't know. I don't think did Shuri ever become Black Panther, like the actual Black Panther, or did she become like just a different character? That's what I'm still confused. She did become Black Panther.
She becomes a Black Panther. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. I'm not against it.
I mean,
I'm not against it, but I would rather be closer to the comic books than just diverting. That's all I'm saying.
The rumor is that Storm is going to be in the movie. They haven't said what the role is or what she's doing in the movie. So it might not even be that storyline. I don't know how else they introduce Storm.
I don't either. That's the thing. Unless you just bypass that whole thing and just decide, they're in battle with a different tribe or something like that, and then she's the leader of the tribe, and they band together and fight the common enemy or something like that. I don't know. But
while we're on superheroes, why did Zack Snyder release a new Justice League trailer and it be the same? Well, you didn't watch it, but it's the same thing, just in black and white.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, but I did see the first 5 seconds.
It's the same thing. It's black and white. What are you? I don't care. I could have put it in a Final Cut Pro and turned it black and white,
which is easy.
What did you do different? Nothing.
You just turn the saturation down and keep going. There's nothing. There's nothing to do. But I mean, I don't know. I am excited for Justice League to come out. I'm excited to see what his
it's gonna
look like. Yeah, because from what it sounds like, we're gonna get it's gonna end up springing off, its
own universe.
Yeah, and we're getting a Joker back in it, Jared Leto's Joker. Mm-hmm. Like that. That's what I'm excited about. That's what.
I think he was gracious to be doing it.
Yeah, because he didn't have
the way they did him in Suicide Squad, man.
Yeah, absolutely dirty, man. Absolutely dirty. I mean, I would love to see. I don't know if they're gonna bring him back with the tattoos. That's my only question. Because I know that was heavily criticized.
Probably.
That was heavily
criticized. If it's the same one though. Because Joker is not going through laser removal.
No, he's not. But I mean, you never know. They might do the thing where they just paint over it, quote unquote.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about the whole Johnny Depp situation,
Oh yeah.
And we've talked about it. We've talked
Yeah.
about it here on the show. So they're doing the new Pirates movie. It's going to be a female-led one starring Margot Robbie. Which, if we're going to have a female,
That's
and
the
it's
one.
not a version of Jack Sparrow because it takes place in the same world, but obviously the lead is going to be Jack Sparrow-esque. It has to be.
Yeah.
Margot
That's the
Robbie is
appeal. Yeah.
Margot Robbie is who you get for it.
Mhm.
Now Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp, was going to make an appearance. There was no decision or no released information on how big it might have been. It was expected to be more than a brief cameo.
Okay.
Maybe a scene. You know what I mean? It wasn't
So
just going to be something in passing.
It's not going to
But
happen
then
anymore.
because of everything that with the lawsuit in London and him having to leave Fantastic Beast, he's not going to be returning now to Pirates.
So I'm confused.
But
Like, was it proven that he did something to Amber?
he was suing a tabloid, basically,
The Sun,
the Sun, who labeled him a wife beater. He was suing for defamation of character for using that term, wife beater, right? And then the judge has determined that term is not an incorrect term to describe him. So whatever that means, I don't know.
So
There has been an unbelievable amount of proof to show that she was the abusive one. I'm not saying he didn't do anything because I don't know. There's a 3-hour recording that I've listened to. Every second of it.
See, and that's the thing that's confusing me, because I would assume for someone that is, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense that she's going to be in any of these movies when and he can't, because if it was roles reversed and the victim was a female. See, this is it's the same thing as a teacher. Like,
but
I don't know
You're exactly right, but does it not feel gross to say that? Because when I say it, I feel like it just feels like it feels to me like women bashing. It feels like women bashing. I know that's not what you're doing.
No,
I know that's not what I'm doing when I say it. But it feels that way. I don't. With her, there's proof that she's the one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when we talk about domestic abuse in general.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, the assumption is it's the guy that's abusing the woman.
Mm-hmm.
But it is proven that there are more cases that are unreported of it being the opposite, where the man is being abused. There's just it's just that it's not reported because he doesn't want, it's going to feel emasculating or whatever. As to why he doesn't report. But if you have a recording where, and I'm not saying Johnny Depp is innocent, like completely innocent,
right?
But I would assume if she's admitting that she abused him, I would assume that if there
is she admitting it though? I feel like I haven't seen her admit it.
I felt like she did in that recording. Talking about
in the recording, but I'm talking about I'm talking about publicly.
No, not publicly. No, she wouldn't do that. Of course not. But, and I don't know any abuser that would, to be honest. I don't know that there would be any abuser that does. But if in the recording she's admitting that she's done this to him and done that to him, at some point I'm not excusing it, but at some point would it not be something that crosses someone's mind that he's defending himself as to why she might have bruises? Like, does that not cross anybody's mind? Because now it's going into that realm of victim shaming and victim blaming. And
if somebody's hitting you and you catch their hand, either way, male or female, either way, there's a chance that you could bruise that person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And honestly,
and I'm not saying he didn't do anything. I don't know, but
we weren't there. But I mean, if my woman is beating on me.
Has she?
No. I'm just I'm just saying, if I'm getting beat on like
Blink 2 times.
you're gonna, yeah, right. But if I'm getting beat on, you've got like maybe 1 or 2 shots where I'm just gonna like block. But then 3 and 4, you better be prepared to put up your guard too. You better be prepared because there's only so much that I'm going to end up taking. I'm
I don't know where you're
sorry.
going with this.
I'm
Making me
sorry, bro.
uncomfortable.
I
Making me- I don't like it.
know.
I don't
And
want
I'm not saying I'm gonna like wail on you.
I don't
But I'm
want
gonna do just enough to get you off of me.
I want to go home. I don't like
look.
this. I don't like this. That's not. I don't
No.
like where this is going.
Look, it's uncomfortable. Trust me. But all I'm saying is that no one should put hands on either party. I don't care who you are. No one should be putting hands on anyone. But
I agree.
But
Man,
if someone puts hands on you, you have the right to defend yourself.
listen, this goes to a conversation I was having earlier with a friend. And this is going to get more serious than we've been.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to have the conversation, we don't have to have it. But
It's fine.
I was talking to, I don't remember what brought it up, how we got in the subject, but I was telling this person back when I was in the church, and this is one of the reasons I found myself still a Christian, still believe in God, but I'm distanced from the church. Back when the Mike Brown situation happened, not Mike Brown, Eric Garner. Eric Garner was selling cigarettes on a street corner in New York, and he was killed. I was having a conversation with my pastor about it. He brought it up because he saw me post something that was in favor of Mike Brown.
Right.
Eric Garner.
Right.
Or in support of is what I should say. And he said Eric Garner deserved to die. And he said he deserved to die because he was resisting arrest. If he didn't, he was saying if he wasn't resisting arrest, he wouldn't have died. Right. And we got into it.
Yeah.
Because you know me, like I don't play that shit. Like if you go back to the Starving Artist episode where we did the BLM versus ALM, one of our guests said, I said to the guest, if I was to come up to, because they were trying to say the same thing, you have to expect to die, basically, if you're resisting arrest.
Yeah.
And I said, if I was to come up to you, put you in a chokehold, and was not letting go, you would defend yourself and you would try to get out of it. And he said, with you, yes, if it was a cop, I would sit still. No, you wouldn't. It's normal instinct. If you can't breathe, you go into panic mode, and you're good, and you need to protect yourself, right? And that is just such a disgusting take to have. You know what I mean? Like, just because somebody's trying to get out of a chokehold or a knee on their neck because you can't breathe, it doesn't mean you're trying to hurt the other person. Right. Which, I would be trying to hurt the other person if they're hurting me. You know what I mean? But like, it's just I don't understand how people can lie to themselves like that to defend their narrative. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's the thing. It doesn't matter what situation you're talking about. You could be talking about this Black Lives Matter thing. You could be talking about domestic abuse, whatever it is. Whoever is on the side of the oppressor or abuser, they're never going to see it from the perspective of the victim at all. It doesn't matter, because they lump
their man. I get so worked up. I'm sorry, thinking about this shit. Like, it's just because like the people who defend the abuser or oppressor in a situation of like the Black Lives Matter are the same people who seem to defend a rapist when they say, well, a woman shouldn't have been wearing that. Well, a woman shouldn't have had 6 drinks. You know, like, go fuck yourself.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going into that that realm of victim shaming and victim blaming, where
Right.
the conversation isn't even focused on the subject anymore. Because you see with
Right.
this whole Johnny Depp situation, we're not talking about the domestic abuse. We're talking about or her abusing him. We're talking
Mhm.
about whether he even attempted to do anything to defend himself, or he's now losing
Yeah.
jobs. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and
Yeah.
she's still on Aquaman too.
One of the biggest expected movies.
So I
Like,
like that's what I'm not understanding. If we're going to allow her to be on this movie, and I'm not sure what other movie she's expected to be on, but
Justice League and Aquaman 2 are the two right now she's working on.
oh, so she is working on Justice League.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't make
Now,
sense.
so
That doesn't make sense, because I don't know how Johnny Depp, how you justify replacing Johnny Depp on Fantastic Beast, or not bring him back in
which is
Pirates of the
also
Caribbean.
Warner Brothers. It's also Warner's, by the way.
See
It's
that, and
also it's same same
a
company.
deep connection. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
And can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Johnny Depp has made more money for Warner's than Amber Heard has at this point.
Yes. Yes. She's relatively
Like,
new. She's
I get
relatively new.
and you know what? I don't want to talk shit about production companies because they're not going to give me a job. But you know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But the point of the conversation mentioning Johnny Depp was, um, Jared Leto returned to Justice League when he didn't have to because of how wrong they did him. Right.
Right.
So Johnny Depp has been removed from the Pirates reboot.
Mm-hmm.
If Disney comes back around and they're like, "We want you back now," what does he say?
They're gonna have to pay him more than they paid him before, and they paid him a stupid amount of money for Pirates of the Caribbean. They like
The
that's how I
amount
would look at it. Like, if you're gonna remove me from the project, and now all of a sudden you shouldn't have removed me. Now you want to bring me back? You're gonna double my pay. You're gonna pay me. You're gonna
is
pay
that.
me because
It,
he's obviously
would you do that? Would you like
yes
because me like I feel
yes.
like as a man, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
no, I
no,
feel
like
that too. I feel that too. But you're gonna pay me for what I'm doing and give me back end money on the film as well. Like,
yeah,
that's what I would demand. That's what I would
yeah.
demand, because he has he between Fantastic Beasts and Pirates of the Caribbean. That's a
Still,
lot
they're
of
still paying
money.
him. They're still paying him for Fantastic Beast.
Oh, they are.
They're paying him his full quote.
Oh well, okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, they're still paying
but
his quote.
but that's going to end up
Yeah,
making him lose money down the road, though. You see what I'm saying? Like,
sure,
if
yeah.
this sticks, that's I don't know how you come back from that, because you're basically forcing him out of Hollywood at that point. I don't know, unless someone wants to just give him a
It's
opportunity, but I don't know who does that.
it's a scary thing, man, because it's like he's been in the business since he's how old 18, 19 years
He
old.
was young,
Like
yeah,
he was untouched. You know what I mean? Like he
yeah.
didn't have a bad reputation. At worst, some people thought he was a weirdo. Like eh, people are weird, especially Hollywood people. They're fucking
Especially
weirdos. Like come
artists.
on, but
Yeah,
yeah, artists. Yeah, like I mean that's okay. Like, but it just feels like inescapable that some people now don't get me wrong. If you deserve to be outed as a whatever, if you're a bad individual, if you're hurting people, if you're I want you to be outed. But
yeah.
this specific isolated situation is one where it seems like Amber Heard may not be in her right mind,
Yeah,
and Johnny Depp would have never even released that audio probably had they just parted ways and left it at that. But
because we had
then
never heard about this before. We had never
yeah.
heard about this before. Now all of a sudden, there you go. I like.
Right.
I don't know. I like. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But my assumption is the reason why she's still on is because she's an attractive woman as to why she's still on the project.
Yeah.
If Johnny was an attractive woman, I'm pretty sure he'd still be on Fantastic Beasts.
It makes, I mean, it makes you wonder though, because
Yeah,
you know, I understand not wanting to, because it all started with her accusations against Johnny Depp.
right.
So
right.
you don't
I think
want to
she was trying to get ahead of everything.
you don't want to fire her and then look like you're anti-victim if she is in fact a victim.
Right, but you're
But
now doing that with Johnny.
I feel like at this point it has been proven that she is at the very least not as big a victim as she has made herself out to be.
Exactly.
I'm not saying there isn't things he's done wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. It's very possible that he's done some things wrong.
Very much so.
But she made him out to be a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't appear in the information that has been released since. I can only go off of what I've seen, read, and heard.
Right.
Based on my own, and I'm not just talking freely here. Like, I've read all the transcripts. I've listened to all the audio. Yeah. I pay attention to this stuff. One, because I don't want to be supporting an abuser. I don't. Sure. I don't want to support an abuser. For and sure. that's like Tori dropped an album. I'm not listening to it.
I didn't listen to it either.
I haven't listened to any of Tori. I took Tori out of my playlist.
Right.
I'm not listening. Right. I'm not putting money in your pocket if you're an abuser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. I care about this stuff. It might seem silly to some people that we care so much about some Hollywood couple that we don't know and may never meet. But it's not that at all. It's, I don't want to support an abuser on either end. If Johnny Depp is an abuser, I'm not going to go see Fantastic Beasts.
Exactly. Rightfully so.
If Amber Heard is an abuser, I'm not going to see Aquaman 2.
Exactly.
I'm not.
Yeah.
The same way that I'm not listening to a new Tory album unless he is found innocent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. At the very least, wait until all the facts come out about the situation. And see that's the thing. We're not privy to the information like that. They're giving us certain things, and from what they've given us, I come to the same conclusion. I don't see that it's all like this whole thing is on Johnny and she is not to blame for anything. I don't see it. I truly believe that they were both toxic to each other. I do believe that. But she admitted to doing that. You see what I'm saying? Like if someone shot someone, and killed someone, that's all I'm saying. Just keep that same energy. Because if someone shot someone and they were on recording saying that they shot this person, boom, case closed.
Yeah. And now I want to challenge myself because I want to keep the same energy too.
Yeah.
Right. So what did I just say? I just said I don't want to support an abuser. Right. I want to challenge myself because I still watch The Cosby Show. Bill Cosby is an abuser. Should I not watch The Cosby Show at this point? You know what I mean? Like, I stopped listening to Tory Lanez because he shot Meg Thee Stallion. Should I? And this is a conversation that I've seen 100 times in OTS. Yeah. This is something Marvo, he says, fuck it, I'm still going to listen to R. Kelly.
Yeah, I see.
The only time I listen to R. Kelly at this point is if I'm watching Space Jam.
I'll say it like this. I think like I said earlier,
what's right and wrong? Is there a gray area?
I think there could be a gray area. I think because there are certain times where you can separate the art from the artist, and sometimes you can't. So when the artist's personal life and their demons are brought into their art, there's no way you can separate them. So that's why R. Kelly, hell no. I'm never listening to R. Kelly again. Sucks because I loved his music. But
see, and that may be the difference between artists in terms of musicians and
Mhm.
filmmakers, right? And but that's
Yes.
but hear what I'm saying, because Tori is himself in his music, R.
Yes.
Kelly's himself in his music. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So take them out the playlist. I'm not listening to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just said, if Johnny Depp or Amber Heard are abusers, I'm not gonna go watch Fantastic Beasts, or I'm not gonna go watch um, Aquaman 2. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what's the difference from that and the Cosby Show? You know what I
I
mean?
would
Because
I
it's a
would say
scripted show. It's not
right.
music.
So I would say that the difference to me would be that one, Bill Cosby was meant something to the culture. What his art meant something to the culture. Like to black people, his shows meant something. Like Different World, for example, increased enrollment into colleges and HBCUs across the country.
I still I still cry when I see that scene with Dwayne in jail
Yeah, yeah,
when he
yeah.
gets
See,
arrested. I still cry. I cry,
it,
man. Like,
see, it means something, right? So I
yeah.
think for me, it's hard for me to say I won't watch the Cosby Show because I grew up on that show, right? Loved it. And while what Bill Cosby did is inexcusable, that like there's nothing you can say to defend it. Um, I think if we were, it feels like if we go down this rabbit hole, a lot of talent back in that day, around that was around that whole time of Cosby,
Yeah.
were doing the exact same thing.
I don't know if what I read was correct, but I read this. Again, not everything on the internet is true. I don't know if
Mhm.
this is true, but I read that there's no good way to say this, but
Mhm.
that what he was doing was essentially legal. Like Quaaludes were made to do that, and Quaaludes were a legal drug that you could get. Like they were
Right,
made to do that. I don't know
right.
if that's true,
I'm not
but
sure, but that was
have you heard
something
that or read that?
I don't know. I didn't read about the legal aspect of it, but
Yeah.
popularity, yeah.
Legal versus right are two different things, by the way. If it
Right,
was
yeah,
legal, it's still
yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Still wrong.
Slavery was legal, right? Um
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I understand it. I get it. Um but that was a still not a thing to make an excuse for. But just adding context to it, that was
Right.
also a lot of that was the culture in that time of how
Yeah.
a lot of men would prey on women, whether they
Yeah.
saw it as predatory behavior or not. That's what a lot of men did back then. And
Sure.
to
Yeah.
me, if we're going to cancel everything Bill Cosby did because of that, there are a lot of people in Hollywood whose whose stuff we should not be supporting at
Sure.
all for the exact same
And
reason. But they didn't
that's what
get
I'm saying
busted.
though.
Yeah, the difference between that whole Bill Cosby thing and the Amber Heard situation is they're removing Johnny
Oh,
Depp
yeah.
from work because of this situation. They're not removing her from that work from that same situation, which
There's
it makes no sense to me. That's where I think there's
yeah.
no
You're no.
it's hard to be able to judge it the same as the Bill Cosby situation because there's no cultural impact to it. Two, you're demonizing there are two people that are in a situation. You're demonizing one
Yeah.
and not the
While
other.
supporting the other. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't make sense. So it's hard for me to be able to put them on the
There,
same level.
there are so many intricacies to this conversation.
Right.
And me asking questions is not me challenging what you're
Right,
saying.
right,
I'm
right, right,
trying to get
right,
a better understanding
right,
of the I don't I'm trying to figure out if I need to rethink my thinking. You know what I mean?
right,
Because
right.
in the same vein as what I just said about the Cosby show, for instance, Harvey Weinstein. Should I not watch a movie that was produced by Harvey
There are
Weinstein?
tons of Harvey Weinstein movies that are classics that
Classics.
if you're not watching if you look at it and say I'm not watching any Weinstein production again, you're wiping out a lot of catalog,
The
a lot of
majority of
movies.
classic 90, 80, 80s, 90s, early 2000s movies. Like
Yes,
Good Will Hunting, one of the best movies ever
that's one
made.
of the
Come on.
best movies.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like it's such a weird, you know, and I'm trying to just figure it all out as I say it, because
yeah,
it is a weird conversation to have, because like I said,
yeah.
I'm not gonna go see Fantastic Beasts, you know, because of what they did to Johnny. I'm not gonna go see, you know, it's just, they're abusers is what, if he's an abuser is what I meant to say.
Right, right,
You know, it's just, there's so many intricacies that I'm trying to figure out so I can form the correct opinion here.
right. Listen,
And
that's
what
the
you were
thing.
just talking about with the Cosby Show, the impact that it had, um, I'm just kind of reflecting on my life, my growing up, right?
Hmm.
Um, as a kid, the top 5 shows I grew up watching, like on repeat.
Hmm.
Friends was one of them.
Yeah,
The Cosby Show,
yeah.
Fresh Prince,
Yes,
Martin,
yes,
and A Different World. Those are my
yes,
5, right?
yes,
So
yes.
I look at some of my friends who don't understand why social justice is so important to me,
Hmm.
right? I look at them, and to not and I'm not saying that they're in support of the stuff that's been happening, but they might not understand why I
Like the understanding.
protest.
Yeah.
They might not understand why I am so vocal about it on social media. They
Right.
might not know why the every time a person of color is murdered, I they see me crying about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I wonder, had I not found those shows, those 4 shows that were so important, all of them,
Mm.
to Black culture, had I not found them as a kid, and would I not get it? You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
people can't say that. There's some people that just say TV's TV, movies are movies.
Hmm.
You enjoy them and that's it. No, they can impact you. They can affect your
Oh, for
train of
sure.
thought.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean?
For
So
sure.
I would like to think, had I not grew up watching those 4 shows, I
Hmm.
would still grow up with the understanding that I have. But I don't know. You know what I
You,
mean? I think
it's
I even something
that's
like Family
strong.
Matters. I think of all, like, the
Yeah.
scene, the scene there where even his father, a police officer, didn't understand Eddie, right? That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even believe what his son was saying. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a scene in Fresh Prince where Will is trying to explain to Carlton, like, that what could happen. Like,
Hmm.
he's raised in Beverly Hills, or I mean Bel Air. Like, he doesn't get it, but you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
it's Malcolm and Eddie is another show. Like, these are all shows that, like, were my favorite shows. The
Right.
only two the only two, if you want to say, white shows I grew up watching, or three, I guess, was Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World, and Friends. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Well,
I
see,
don't
that's the
know. It's just,
thing.
I guess I'm reflecting on myself and who I am,
Yeah.
and had these shows not been my favorite shows growing up, would I not think the way that I think now? What do you think?
You
You know
probably,
me.
yeah, you probably, I think you would still have come to the same conclusion
Hmm.
because your heart is in the right place. Like you truly have the desire for understanding,
Hmm.
but I don't think you would have arrived to that as fast as you did. Because if you think about it, like the Cosby Show, for example, that was one of the first shows where we saw a black couple that was that was professional. You know, that
Right.
you have a doctor and a lawyer. You know, they have this house full of kids that they're still able to keep everything in order. That's one of the first shows we've seen where the black family was portrayed in a positive light. Not the stereotypical type of thing or of a broke black family or struggling and stuff like that. Like they had money. They had money,
Yeah.
but they were well grounded. and humble.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that was important for us to see. That was important for us to see, for sure. That's why, for me, The Cosby Show is one of the shows that, even though what Bill Cosby did was inexcusable, what Cliff Huxtable did was monumental. You see what I'm saying? Like, I separate those two. I separate those 2.
Mhm.
And I know that might not be the most popular thing. Uh,
But
I'm
you
fine
know
with
the
it.
impact it had on you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
had a significant impact on me, because
Yeah.
I know growing up, like, my mom's a nurse, right? So I was used to seeing a black nurse. I was used to seeing black women in the medical field, because I would go to the hospital all the time. But to see that on TV, where all I was used to seeing was white people in professional settings and not black people, to be able to see that when I became of age to, really understand what I was watching, um, that was different. That was
Sure.
different.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
different. Um, like I said, the cultural impact, you got a grasping of what those lessons were in that show, um, early, because they stressed those points. They stressed all of those things in that show, just like they did with Fresh Prince and just like they did in Family Matters. They stressed those specific situations to drive home a point about what black people deal with in this country.
Yeah.
They did a phenomenal job of that. So you got an understanding at a young age. I think you still would have came to that conclusion uh, uh in your life. It just, you probably wouldn't have come to it as fast if you had not watched those
Yeah.
shows. Probably not.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
that's
fine if people don't understand what that means. It's fine if they don't understand what those shows mean to us. But the lessons that they had and the impact, those are real. So that's why, like, I don't like doing the broad stroke over situations and putting everybody into the same category, um because everyone's story is different.
yeah.
I take it situation by situation. So yeah, what Bill Cosby did, what Harvey Weinstein did, horrible things that they did to people, like, in their lives.
Right.
But the impact that Bill Cosby had on our culture versus what Harvey Weinstein had on our culture, they're not even in the same league. They're not in the same league
Absolutely.
at all. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, is one thing where I can look at Harvey Weinstein's movies. Like, I can look at those movies, to me, and I still, like, I don't even, to be completely honest, I sometimes don't even remember which movies were produced by him until I'm about to
Sure.
watch it and see his logo pop up. I'm like, oh snap, this was
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein.
Every movie, essentially,
It's
in the
essentially every
'90s.
movie, yeah,
Yeah.
and it throws you off with that. But
Now when how influential Lin Manuel Miranda has been.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I got a phone call. I don't know if I disconnected it.
no, you good.
Oh, so Lin Manuel Miranda has been incredibly influential to me, on the subject of Weinstein. Before all the information came out about him, however, 3 years ago,
Mhm.
Weinstein had acquired the rights to In the Heights, the the film adaptation, the film rights
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
adapt In the Heights into a film. Um, then all the information came out,
yeah,
and then Lin Manuel Miranda himself purchased back with interest the rights to In the Heights because he did not want the Weinstein Company to make said movie.
right.
And then Warner Brothers bought it. Warner Brothers bought it, and now it's coming out on HBO Max and theaters this summer. Um, it's stuff like that is just caring and being mindful, and you don't want to support abusers.
For sure,
There's
for
there's some
sure,
people who don't have a problem doing it.
for sure.
Um, and I mean, think about how major what Lin Manuel Miranda did.
Hmm.
Think about how major that is.
Yeah,
Film rights are expensive. He bought it back with interest
right.
because
That's
he
a
did
lot of
not
money.
want a company with decades of tainted history, even with Weinstein gone and going to jail, still ran by his family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think it's major, and I think it's important, and I think it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
for sure. And I think that that's something that should be applauded.
recommended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think it's crazy though. 'Cause you think about how much progress I think that we have gone through in the last 3 to 4 years.
Socially, yeah.
Socially, yeah. Just with that happening. You know, I think
Still so far away.
It's not there. It will never be perfect. Never be perfect. But I think more people are
think about
more mindful.
Think about the generation coming up.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. Like, honestly, like the generation coming up. This is gonna sound silly to say. What teenagers did on TikTok to entirely screw up President Trump's reelection, it's incredible. Like, that's encouraging to me. It sounds childish to say that, what they did on TikTok to ruin his race. But you know what I mean? Like, they, like, children, they care about these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I cared more about social injustice as a teenager than my peers did. Absolutely. But now it seems like the majority of high schoolers care about what's happening.
I think we're going to see that progress even more. I don't. Again, nothing will ever be perfect.
Never. Yeah.
But I think we'll see more progress. So I think Hollywood, to me, to be completely honest, I think Hollywood is actually they're facing the end of what Hollywood was.
Sure.
I think we're still gonna have the Oscars and stuff like that for sure. People still put value in all that, but Hollywood will never be this. Hollywood will never have the same amount of power that they once had. They will never have that again because one, technology has become so evolved that it is now put control of content in our hands. We no longer have to go to a studio for them to produce a movie or to produce a show. Like, we can do it ourselves, put it out for free.
What I'm doing.
And let the people finance us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you have to go to that machine anymore to get all that stuff. So I think now what we're going to see is Hollywood has to evolve, because we're seeing that now. Like, COVID has forced Hollywood to reevaluate how things are being done. I know we didn't get to talk about it. We'll talk about it in the actual episode.
In the next, that's what I was going to say. That's the perfect segue to that topic for the next episode.
Yeah, because it's just you see the evolution. Wonder Woman will be out on HBO in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that is.
Let's save this. Let's save it. We got to save it.
Never thought I'd see that.
Never got to save this conversation.
Yeah,
not having it.
Yeah.
Listen. This has been a 2.5 hour conversation.
Yes.
We started at 7:08. It is now 9:39.
Yes. And I'm surprised your phone was able to last.
it just gave me the 10% warning, and my AirPods are about to die. They're beeping in my ears. So, with that being said, let's wrap it up, and then we'll come back and we'll only discuss the one thing so we don't miss it. This episode has been a really good one. We discussed a lot of really important things. Social injustice is so important to both of us, and we talked about it from the very beginning, even going back to Saved by the Bell. Not that was social injustice, but diversity. Representation matters. I really enjoyed this episode. I think we just I almost cried in
this
this.
is phenomenal.
I almost cried in this episode.
Oh, really? That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And we didn't even get to touch on Elliot Page, which I would like to discuss in the actual episode, in the next episode.
Absolutely. And I meant to bring it up, but we're 2.5 hours in. So look at us. We're the JBP now.
Man.
But all right, listen, this has finally been another episode of Realish. We will be back. Derrick, just shoot me a text and we'll figure out when to record. I'm free tomorrow if you want to do it tomorrow, but just let me know. And this has been a great episode, and I cannot wait to come back and do another one. So until next time, I'm out.